Hello and welcome to Capacity TV. My name is Malik, Deputy Editor at Capacity. We're here live at ITW/Data Asia 2025 and I'm delighted to be joined by Palaniappan Muthuraman, who's the Managing Director at Pillar Power Singapore, part of Langley Group Holdings. Palani, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Malik. Thank you very much.
Tell me about yourself, your company and what brings you to Data Cloud Asia.
I'm Palaniappan. I'm the Managing Director of Pillar Power Singapore, and Pillar Power Singapore is part of Langley's Power Division Group, and Langley Power Division Group consists of three companies, which is Bergen Engine, Merrily Motory and Pillar Power. What brings me to Data Cloud Asia and ITW? The current market trend requires all these hyperscalers and cloud infrastructure to build plants with huge power requirement, and the grids are unable to meet. So we are here to let people know you have modular solutions, you have modular scalable solutions that can speed to market and you don't have to wait for grid connectivity. And that's the reason why we are here in ITW and Data Cloud Asia.
Awesome. And how can Langley's Power Division help with the current issue of grid availability?
Grid availability is a serious problem nowadays. What we hear from other regions, there are customers who have to wait for 5 years or 7 years or sometimes even 10 years to get grid connectivity. The market demands the data centers now and not after 5 years or 7 years. And that is the reason why you got to have solutions able to provide this, and Pillar combined with Bergen can provide solutions for these AI data centers, which is modular, scalable, and speed to market within less than 18 months from the time the LOI is signed.
When we talk about gensets and the gensets that you provide, are these like gensets that audiences are already familiar with?
That's a very common question that's being asked because in general, the data center infrastructure nowadays uses standby powered engines, whereas the engines that we supply are continuous prime power because these are island grid-free power working without a grid. So these are continuous powered engines.
And how quickly is your solution going to be available?
In terms of delivery time, lead time, it's roughly around 12 months. But from an LOI to powering the data center, it takes roughly 18 months. That's pretty quick instead of waiting for a grid which takes 5 years or 7 years, or alternative solutions which is alternative solutions, which I mean like gas turbines or nuclear power or maybe grid connectivity, which takes much longer than this.
And for what capacity of power requirements is the solution suitable for?
Typically, the data center requirement that we see AI data centers are growing as 100 megawatt or 200 megawatt. We have solutions from 100 megawatt to 500 megawatt power in modular and scalable, and they can expand as the customer requirements and not as a bulk at one time and waiting for the data centers to fill. So here you can build as the market requires.
And what are the trade-offs or downsides in terms of cost, emissions or complexity when relying on a behind-the-meter island mode power plant rather than hooking it up to the public grid?
There are always trade-offs when you go for island power because currently the bigger issue is the grid is not available. If the grid is available, that's the given choice for every customer. Since the grid is not available, you got to go for a little bit more expensive connectivity to island and grid-free power. However, going for this gives a lot of benefits to the operator because it gives you control, it gives you speed to operate, it also gives you the resilience that you require from the grid. As far as the emissions are concerned, we meet stringent international standards. And also these engines are capable to drive future fuels also like hydrogen.
How does your solution compare to the others available?
Obviously, there are other solutions that are available in the market, which could be namely a nuclear power plant or a grid connectivity or a gas turbine, a large gas turbine. The large gas turbines takes much years to come, much more complex, and you got to build it to the end stage power and not build it in modular in stages. Nuclear power takes much more time and you can't wait for those number of years to build your data center. You need revenue much faster as the market demands. So currently we are trying to meet the digital speed with these solutions, modular scalable solutions that we have compared to the other solutions that's available in the market.
And could you explain how Shield X, your dynamic power stabilizer, works?
That's a very interesting question. Probably that's where the key is currently, especially with AI data center, because these AI data centers are powering huge number of NVIDIA chips, which is running for AI learning or AI training or for other loads, AI inference. But these have huge surges in power requirement, and suddenly it reduces the power demand also. So this huge fluctuation in power is probably being able to be met by the grid. However, with island power, it's very difficult to be met. That is why we have a Shield X, which has got an inertia and a kinetic energy to absorb power and deliver power when required. So this combination of inertia and the flywheel or kinetic energy that can absorb and deliver power, it is able to smoothen the load requirement and also give you the equivalent resilience to a grid power solution that's available.
How does Shield X configuration compare against waiting years for public grid connection or building large turbine-based plants?
Obviously, connecting to the grid is the best solution. But since the grid is not available, this island power, along with Shield X, provides you the same resilience what a grid could provide. And with this combination, you're able to meet not just a normal data center requirement, but also an AI-powered data center requirement.
And finally, what's the cost of your solution?
Cost of the solution obviously depends on the scale of the project, the redundancy requirement, and also the government regulations. However, to make it simple, it is not going to be as economical as connecting to the grid. But the additional cost that they are going to pay, the operators are going to pay for this island power, surely helps them in getting them speed to market in order to able to control the efficiency of the plant, because all these data centers are not going to operate always at full load. And you don't have to build a huge capacity and waiting for it to be used later on.
Palani, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, Malik. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
And thank you for watching Capacity TV.
Thank you.